Hi, this is Jay Horwitz, Amazing Conversations with Jimmy Kimmel, host of Jimmy Kimmel Live on WABC. This is my Don Iverson imitation.
WNBC. Yeah.
WNBC, Don Iverson, good friend. Can I go back in time a little bit? October 18th, 2015. Sold out City Field, second game in the LCS, Mets Cubs. You come out of the dugout, we're number 31. Was it for Mike Piazza, John Franco, or George Bamberger? Who we were in at 31 night
It
four?
was for Mike Piazza. Mike Piazza, who I got to when I was a sports guy here in LA. Piazza was with the Dodgers, and I took I'm Italian. I took a liking to him, and then
Yeah.
he wound up on the Mets. Good fortune smiled on us, and there he wound up on the Mets. So that was 31 for Piazza.
Yeah, how nervous were you? Were you afraid of? Do you remember 50? I remember seeing some of the historic
Oh
first
yeah, Baba
50 Cent,
Booey,
Baba Booey.
50
A-
Cent. Yeah.
Any nervous at all?
I wasn't nervous at all. I don't know why I wasn't nervous, but I don't know. I figured like if there's one thing that I can do, it's throw a baseball. I played many years of little league. I was a catcher always, and it never even occurred to me to be nervous. What I was thinking is I wanted to look good in the still photographs. So I went with a big windup before the
You
pitch.
you threw a strike to Ken Pilecki. I got to say that. Yeah.
That's right.
But Jimmy, born in Brooklyn, you spent most of your childhood growing up in Nevada, right? Most of the time in
Yeah,
Nevada.
we moved to Vegas when I was 9 years old. I lived in Mill Basin in Brooklyn, and that's where I became a Mets fan.
So how did how did you keep your Met fandom up in Nevada? Was that with no cell
It,
phones and stuff? What'd you do?
Yeah, it wasn't easy. I mean, it was all Dodgers, and my dad's a Dodgers fan.
Yeah.
He's been a Dodgers fan since they were in Brooklyn. So it was very Dodgers centric when I was growing up, and it was one of those things where, like a lot of times on the West Coast, you wouldn't even get the box score until 2 days later. It would make the newspaper, so it wasn't easy. But when the Dodgers would play the Mets, I'd watch those games and I was a Dodgers fan for a big chunk of my childhood because they were the only team we had.
Who's your favorite Met player? Do you have it? Is it Mike or somebody else? Or
Well, Tom Seaver when I was a kid, as
yeah,
everybody's favorite Met was
yeah.
Tom, and I have a few, but yeah, I think Seaver and Piazza are probably my two favorite
Is
Mets.
there a favorite game, Jimmy? Do you remember what you were at, or did you
Well,
see much
the
postseason in 2015? Did you see many of the games after that?
Yeah, no, I live in LA, so I happened to be doing my show that
Yeah,
week. It really was
right.
I was very lucky to be there that week. Let's see, my favorite game. It's hard to beat the 86 series. We did
Yeah.
a documentary about that team and those games, and not just the World Series with the Red Sox, but those Astros games or that Mike Scott game was just unbelievable where he was scuffing the ball quite obviously.
Very
And
obviously, yes, he
yeah,
was. Yeah, the first documentary President Kagame did was "Once Upon a Time in Queens." You know what I really loved about the show, and I thought I knew everybody. I lived with these guys for 40 years. The relationship with Keith and his family, I thought was great. I mean, it really personalized Keith with Gary and his dad. I mean, I thought that was
me
really,
too.
really a big for me. It was a big part of the show. I didn't know that part of it, to be honest with you.
I think it's crazy that Keith Hernandez isn't already in the Hall of Fame, and I
Nuts!
I
It's
hope that
absolutely nuts.
I hope that documentary helps push it forward. But he obviously had a very difficult relationship with his father, who wanted him to succeed, like a lot of dads who are parents of great athletes. And I remember him saying that the worst purchase he ever made was buying his dad a satellite dish
Right.
because the phone would ring in the dugout
They
after
used to
the
talk all
game.
the time, and Keith was coach with his brother Gary, and they
Yeah.
used to have hand signals together. But I really thought that, and Daryl Doc stuff, you did it the right way. It wasn't heavy. It was, and I think the whole thing was done nice. And you guys are trying to do another one. The bad guys won, but another doc.
We are working on a scripted version of the show that, of the documentary and the book that, Jeff Pearlman wrote. Yeah. So we're working on that right now, trying to get that, sold.
Can I ask you a favor, Jimmy?
Yeah.
If you could, I'm alive still. I think I'm alive.
Yeah,
Over there.
you look lively. I'm looking
Do
at
you
you and you're
think
moving.
could you cast Hugh Jackman for me? Have you got to, if you want to get guys to play me?
We were thinking Hugh Downs, but yes, Hugh
Yeah,
Jackman is an interesting idea. But
yeah,
yeah, I think Wolverine would. I sometimes think of him when I see you. So
yeah, we're double. We're double. But this is like the Lakers. I mean, I've seen the Lakers stuff on TV. Is that similar to what you're trying to do? Get people to play parts and stuff.
that is also based on a book by Jeff Pearlman. And
Yeah,
no, you know what? I didn't love that series. I actually happen to be a Lakers fan as well,
yeah.
and I just don't, I don't think some of the depictions of some of the characters are accurate or fair. So that's not something I really want to make sure that that we capture the people and don't just combine personalities for the sake of narrative.
Can I tell you, there's a topic the bad guys want is so applicable. Jimmy, the rest of the league hated us, absolutely hated us in '86. We
Hmm.
were cocky, we were bold. In the spring, Davy Johnson gave a speech. We're not going to only win, we're going to dominate. So we won 108 games. Every time somebody threw at Darryl or anybody, we had a fight. We had a classic fight in Cincinnati when Eric Davis slid into Ray Knight at third base and the bench clear was empty. But I mean, it's so applicable, the title I play. I mean, we were despised by everybody in the league.
Yeah, that was interesting to me. That's the way George Foster alienated himself from the team, is
We could
because
go out and fight that game,
he wouldn't
exactly.
fight. And also, I remember Ray Knight, what a good fighter he was.
Mike
Like when I
Mike Tyson paid us a visit that spring. He saw all the fights we got into. So Mike Tyson, paid us a visit, but it was crazy. I didn't know what to expect when I got to the ballpark each day. It was oh my gosh, one time the Daily News ran a photo of a little kid standing in front of a police station. He said, "Daddy, Daddy, we want to see the Mets." I said, well, you're in the right place. They're all inside. And that's why I have no hair now, Jimmy.
I have a picture of Mike with Gooden and Strawberry hanging just slightly. It's just right there on the wall. I don't know if you can see it from there,
Yeah,
but
that was a great.
yeah.
When do you think this might take place? Do you have any idea when it might get take place and everything?
Well, I'm not sure. We're still pitching it. We just started pitching, so hopefully it will. Somebody will bite on it, and we'll be able to make it, because we do have a lot of actors who are interested in being a part of it.
Well, please keep me in mind for a bit part or something. I can,
Of course. What are you kidding? You'd be
so
a great narrator, actually.
no, and I mumble a lot, Jimmy. So let me tell you, the game six of '86. I'm sitting in the office with Davy Johnson and Keith. I was sitting in a chair where it was two outs, two outs, we're losing by 2 runs. I had to go to the bathroom. Keith said, "You can't go. You got to hold it." I said, "Keith, but I got to go." So then Gary gets a hit, Mitchell gets a hit, Mookie at bat, and wound up peeing in my pants, but it was worthwhile because we won.
It's funny you say that, because I was at the Subway Series, and with my cousin Sal, who's a big Mets fan.
Yes,
And we later learned that Sal had developed a hernia at some point during the game,
really.
but he went to the restroom and didn't quite make it and peed all over his jeans, like
Yeah.
he was just drenched. and,
You know,
and he sat there and watched the whole game. And then we took the subway back to the hotel afterwards. And
everybody talks about game six. For me, it was game six in Houston, 16 innings. We're going to ninth inning, losing by
oh,
3 runs.
yeah.
We had five pitchers pitch 16 innings that day. I don't think you can do that anymore today. And we won. We and Mike Scott gave us no runs at two starts, and didn't want to face it. But that captivated the whole city that day. I remember Times Square had it on the bulletin boards there and everything. That was pretty nerve wracking.
Was that the most fun you ever had as a member of the Mets organization?
I do. You know what, Jimmy? I just gotten out of college, and they made me part of the team. I was part of the guys. They voted me a share that year. Which kind of alienated from the rest of the Mets front office, but that's another story. But it was they had so many different personalities, Keith and Darlene, and and Dwight and Daryl and Gary and we just
Lenny.
Lenny, poor Lenny. Lenny's gone up to a little bit for Schlugginer right now, you know. But I mean, I look forward to seeing it, and so this would be like actors. You could get people to play Dwight and Daryl and a
Yeah.
whole bit like that.
Right, exactly,
Okay.
exactly. Yeah.
Can I ask you a couple of show related questions?
Sure.
How much competition is there for guests between the late night shows? I always wonder. I mean, is there a lot? Do you use your influence? You know,
I think there's more competition in New York because there are 3 shows in New York, and
right?
I'm really alone out here, and I think most of the decisions are made just by which coast, the celebrities are on, so I don't have to deal with a whole lot of that, and, I think whereas I think my colleagues, do, and it's pretty civil. They will just take turns, really, that's kinda how it goes.
And the other thing is when you do your monologues, how long does it take to do a regular monologue? I mean, how much?
To prepare it?
Yeah,
It depends, but typically it's kind of like a newspaper. In the morning, we wake up and figure out what we're going to talk
yeah,
about, and that night we go on stage and put it all out there. And occasionally there are pre-taped pieces that we shoot in advance. Like we'll send Guillermo to my sidekick to the Super Bowl for media day, and we know we have a 5 minute piece that's going to end the monologue. But most days, like today, for instance. Everything we did today was from today.
right, right. A little birdie told me you once hit a home run in a softball game in an All Star game in Houston.
That is correct. I did. I hit a I hit a home run on ESPN,
Right.
probably the highlight of my life.
Right. Do you remember who did you hit against?
I was hitting against an Olympic softball, a female Olympic softball pitcher.
Was it Jenny Finch? No.
No, it wasn't Jenny. It was one whose name I do not recall. But one of the great things that ever happened to me was Vin Scully. I had him on the show, and he voiced over my home run. So he did
Really?
the whole thing, and it was first of all just very exciting for me personally, but also amazing to watch him at his age. He had no notes. He had studied, he'd learned like where I went to high school. He knew everything about me, and he spoke extemporaneously about me, and it's on YouTube, and it is really like something I just watch every once in a while.
He was really one of the guys responsible for getting Gil Hodges in the Hall of Fame. Right before he died, he wrote an essay that appeared at MLB.com talking about how Gil had helped Jackie Robinson combat all this stuff. And it was what a nice man. Always said
Yeah.
hello.
Oh, such a great guy.
Just,
Gil Hodges, we used to go to his bowling alley in Brooklyn, Gil
yeah.
Hodges Lanes. Yeah.
I still speak with his daughter, and thank God his wife was able to live long enough to see him get him 35 ballots. So you've had a lot of our guys on the show, right? Dave, Mike David and DeGrom and Wilmer Flores, and a couple of years ago.
Yeah, we had Alonso on. We shot a funny commercial with him, a local commercial with him. Yeah, I love that. I mean, my dream is to have them on celebrating a World Series victory. That would
Well, I
be the
hope so.
best.
Wilmer didn't cry on your show, did he? No,
No, no, no, no.
he didn't cry. But
I
but
I think I cried watching him get taken out at second base.
that was good. Do you think when are you going to come back to Brooklyn this year, Jimmy? Have you set a date yet, or?
We're not sure. We're working on it. We're hoping, but it's very expensive is the truth. We're trying to figure it out. Everything is a lot more expensive than it was the last time we traveled.
So you still follow us from LA? I mean, you
I
still.
do. Yes. The Mets were in town this weekend. It was my son's birthday. Unfortunately, I was not able to go. My cousin Sal went to the game. He
Yeah,
bought
I heard he went to the 10-0 game. Thanks,
He
Jimmy.
went to the 10-0 game. Yeah, he was like, it was funny because he was at my kid's birthday party. He's like, I got to get out of here. I got to get to the game. I got to get there beforehand and buy some tickets. And he had his kids with him. And he gets there, and in the blink of an eye, it was 10-0.
Yeah, well, we played it. We started. We ever started at 0-5. Well, hopefully we get to go back to City, throw out another first pitch, and
Yeah, the thing about the Mets is they are. I'm hoping that starting so slow this year, at least at the first, 6, 7 games of the
Yeah.
season. I'm hoping that that is like the opposite of it. Usually is like we get off to a really good start, we get
Right.
really excited, and then things collapse at the end. So I'm hoping that the diagram goes the other way this time around.
Yeah, it's a tough market. The Yankee fans are booing Aaron Judge now, so anything is not for is at the table. Listen, I hope to get anything I could do from my end. I deal with the alumni guys, because I'm an older PR guy, so I deal with the older, and we're retiring, Dow's number June
I
1st.
know that. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's great. Yeah,
yeah,
that's gonna be
and both
great.
of the guys are doing good. Daryl had the heart attack a little while ago, but he's
Yeah.
recovered. And listen, I appreciate you taking the time to do it. It means a lot. And if we can ever do anything tomorrow, and let us know. And again, thank you for your time. And I watch every night. And you
Thanks,
know,
Jay.
and,
It's
and,
a
and be
pleasure to talk to you. You are a part of the, fabric of the character of this team, and, it's fun
okay.
to talk to you.
So don't keep you, Jackman. Give me one. If it's not you, Jackman, who could it be?
Have you seen Austin Butler? He played Elvis in the
No,
Elvis movie. I
no.
think
You,
it
you know what they say? I look like Henry Kissinger's 101 years old. But hey,
I
listen,
wouldn't I wouldn't do
anything we
that to
do
you.
to help out, hope you get it sold. I'm looking forward to working with you to do the thing again. And again, thank you for your time.
Thanks, Jay. Take care.
Appreciate it.